Yes, the lounge show. I was asked famously to be the announcer for that show, and at the time I didn't see the vision. Like most people, I underestimated the program and its hosts. Foolishly, of course. Later, I came crawling back on my hands and knees, begging for the job, but force by that time. It had already been given to Latbat. So I had to graciously accept my defeat and learned a valuable lesson.
It's The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle, two veteran broadcasters who love to hear themselves talk and are somehow able to tolerate each other. Let's see if you can tolerate them as well. Here's Rob and Bob.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Bob Doyle in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yes, you are, and I'm Rob Scott. And I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Which means it's time for the Lounge Show. And wow, have we got a show for you tonight.
Yeah, we do. We've been working on it for, well, quite some time.
The Crumb Brothers are here, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Little Cecily and her jazz band is also coming out later.
Wow.
And Ricky and the Rumpus, they're back as well. So you picked it. Anyway, they picked a really good night all of you picked a really good night to be here with us live.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have a technical glitch, so if you're watching this in the replay, it's in German. So unless you understand German, I'm just, I'm speaking German to you right now. Now, some of you, I'm sure a vast majority of our audience does speak and is fluent in German. But for those of you who aren't, sorry. The lesson here is be here live at 6 p.m. Pacific. And
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Eastern. We need to get that. We need to call him up. See if he'll just tag that last.
Bill. It's Rob Scott. I just call him Bill. Hey, Bill.
And he's like, I know. I got caller ID.
I got caller ID. I would never delete your number.
That's all right.
Only when I was married to Christy. You got a little weird and we had to block you. But now that Christy's gone.
How old were you when that was going on? How old when was that? So that was, I was in high school, I guess, because he was singing Uptown Girl, right? No, for the longest time. I'm getting confused. I'm getting my eras confused. So was that about the same area? Area
51?
Yes, that's exactly what I meant.
Uptown Girls, where he met her, or either that, or he put her in the video when they started dating. I don't know what the whole.
That is so. I am so sorry. This is a total derail, but I saw Sammy's comment, and then I looked at your shirt, and I'm going, "Oh my God, I should have gone with my gut," because I have a shirt that it's the same color scheme. It has ukuleles on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've worn it maybe once on this. I bought it the first Los Angeles Ukulele Festival back when I lived there, and it was way too big for me. It's almost like a moon.
The festival was too big for you, or the shirt? And there's his answer. So you have one of the. I don't know. This doesn't have ukuleles. It's just
no. I know. It's just a shirt. It's a shirt with the same color scheme. So, and if I had worn it, which I almost did because it kind of is the color scheme of this background.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I decided at the last second not to go that route. But now I wish I had. I so wish I had.
Yeah, Sammy likes this shirt. By the way, Christy Brinkley, Billy Joel, that you brought that
Thank
up.
you,
I
yes.
have a story. I have a story about Christy Brinkley and Billy Joel.
Do you have the answer to my question? What years were that? You heard me.
85, 86, 80. But here, my story takes place about that same time, obviously.
I wish I had some storytelling music in the background, but I don't know the tone of the story. And I don't have a music library at my fingertips.
Which is just awful, Bob.
AI will bring it to us any minute now. I'll just whisper to my left to say
80 degrees in Atlanta.
And it is
a smoky what? Did you see any of the smoke from the Canadian fires there in Las Vegas?
Negatory. I didn't even know there were any until this morning when I talked to somebody.
Anyway, I'm sitting at Disney World.
Right now, it looks like your background. That is so cool. What do they got, like Rob World?
No. You threw me off here. So I'm sitting at Disney with my, at that time, girlfriend, who then became my wife, and
so
now
your ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, now my ex-wife. So anyway, we were sitting in Frontierland, and Kim had to go to the restroom. So she goes to the restroom, and what do you do when you're at a place like Disney? You people watch. I mean, you just I'm sitting there finishing up my overpriced barbecue sandwich.
Yes.
And waiting for Kim to get back from the restroom so we can go partake in the rest of the Disney magic. And I see coming toward me, I'm just people watching. I'm mostly watching girl watching, but people watching. And I see what looks to be like a very attractive lady in the distance. And you already know because I've been.
You forecast it.
Right, as they get closer, I go, oh my gosh, two things. First of all, that's Billy Joel and Christy Brinkley with their daughter. And second of all, my girl watching skills have not diminished. They were spot on from a lengthy distance. I knew already this was going to be an attractive lady.
So hold on. Did Kim miss the whole thing?
The whole thing.
So you have no proof whatsoever.
Oh, okay, that's where you're going. Yeah, and so I followed them into a gift shop, and I they had a Disney guy with them with the tie and the Disney little name tag, and he was just kind of a hanger-on, I guess. Anyway, I went up to him and I said, do people, are people bothering him? And he goes, no, they're kind of doing what you're doing, like keeping a distance, but staring uncomfortably from a couple of rows away where they're shopping for Disney tchotchke. And so, but I'd stare. I didn't, in those days, no cell phones. No one could run up.
Right? Oh my God.
But I found it really neat that they were just, doing the usual shtick, except the overpriced gifts probably didn't bother them as much. I'm guessing they have more money than me.
Yeah, so what year was that?
That would have been maybe 90, 91, 92, somewhere in the early 90s.
So right before you came to Atlanta?
Well, we may have come down from Milwaukee to visit my parents, or we may have come down from Atlanta to visit my parents. I don't know. It's in that zone of the world. But it would have been, let's say certainly before, let's say 95. So it would be, I don't know, 89, 90, 91, maybe early.
Well, I'm trying to figure out why, I can't imagine if that happened. Because that happened, that you haven't told me that before, like when it happened, because we would have known each other at that point.
Okay, I see where you're going. Yeah, well, then maybe, I don't know. Maybe it was before you and I met, but it certainly was obviously when they were married and they had their daughter with them, whatever her name is.
All right, we need some fact checking. Sammy, get on the horn. The horn to the lab.
Yeah, I call the lab. So, and speaking of Sammy, and I envied her today and I was going to ask you this. So Samantha took Riley today to see the new Little Mermaid. Speaking of Disney, the new Little Mermaid, and I posted a couple of pictures that were just so adorable. One where Riley was just so wide-eyed and just taking in the movie.
Yes.
And it was awesome. But my point is, I was thinking I could bring this up to Bob during the show. I miss that. I miss that time when your kids, we're going to go see the new so-and-so movie, or we're going to go to the so-and-so theme park or whatever. When you took them on those adventures and they were just so, and of course, now Sam gets to do it, which is really cool. But do you remember taking your kids to?
Oh, Rob, if my heart wasn't made of marble, perhaps I could remember fondly these memories. I really do not remember.
If my heart wasn't.
So much of the movies consumed were on video. Like, I don't really remember going to see like Aladdin or Little Mermaid, but we had the videos, and they watched them nonstop. So I don't remember a lot of excitement about going to movies. I may, I don't know.
Speaking of that, there's a new Indiana Jones movie coming out.
Yes.
Like number 5 or 6. And I was thinking about that from a media standpoint the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, who's the target? Who's the target audience? Me. You and I, Bob. I mean, we were the ones who, nostalgia. We still want to continue to watch the saga. Yeah. And I'm thinking, it's kind of a risk to think people my age are
I just got to think they're just doing it. Because after Crystal Skulls or whatever that last one was.
It was a real turd.
Yeah. So they either, it's either going to be like really awesome, and that's the only reason Harrison Ford did it, or it's just like, all right, let's just get this over with.
Well, or
let's
maybe
Han Solo this guy. Like, I don't know what happens or anything, but it's got to be the last one.
Well, yeah, he's 80.
And I know there's some great, like, I love that. I love the idea that they've used technology so that they're both coexisting at the same time, the young and old. I love that idea. So
last night I watched the last Ghostbusters again because I just enjoy it, and Harold Ramis comes back as a ghost in that one.
Oh, really?
Kind of.
I didn't see. I haven't seen.
It's good. It's not. You look. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, which I was, I thought it was the first.
This is the one with Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it works. It's a little hokey. It's a little sentimental, but they do all the tropes. They say no. We're
it's for the fan. It's just like this. It's for the fans.
Yes, it is totally for fans, and it's fun. You catch the little Easter eggs for the fans, and it's cute.
I feel like they were apologizing for the other one.
Could be the one with all the women. I guess was I didn't even see it.
I didn't either, so I don't have any judgment on it. I heard Dan Aykroyd talk nicely about it in an interview.
Okay, he's in it. Bill Murray's in it. They're all in the
yeah. I feel like Dan Aykroyd was probably just doing some PR. Like, he's not going to trash this film.
Right. Not only that, but he got paid because Ghostbusters is the original writer. So anytime they're going to use even the word Ghostbuster, Dan Aykroyd makes money. So does Harold Ramis' estate, I'm guessing, because they wrote the film, the original.
I ain't afraid of no ghost. Yeah, no one's afraid of no ghosts.
Double negative.
I mean, it's like you're afraid of ghosts. It's like, I'm not afraid of no ghosts. Okay, yeah, join the club.
At the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where this one of Harold Spangler, right? Wasn't that Egon? I'm sorry, Egon. So one of his grandkids gets arrested, and the sheriff looks at her, and she goes, can I make a call? And he goes, who are you going to call?
Oh, Jesus.
It's stuff like that.
Okay.
It's stuff like that. So you go, okay, and I smile. Because I go, okay, that's all it is. They don't come on and they don't beat the horse to glue, but it's real obvious, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. Because
the trailer for that film was real serious. They put that out. There was you felt like it was going to be this edgy sort of spin on it.
Yeah.
But they're doing stuff like that in there.
Right. And that's right. Everything is like, who are you going to call? I go, But I mean, it's kind of clever. What the hell? It was fun to watch.
Right.
And,
I got you.
And I don't know what's going to happen with Harrison Ford, but that's another thing. See, now I think about it, you probably are right about that. You guys would rent movies. I made it a big deal, especially in the summer, to take the kids to see summer blockbusters because I think they're cool.
I know we must have. I mean, I'm sure.
Well, we went to see Polar Express with you. Sammy and Steven and I, and I think Max was with you, and the kids were younger, and we all saw it on a big IMAX screen. You picked the theater.
In 3D, obviously. So, wow, I barely remember that.
That was over like more in your neighborhood, maybe much more.
Yeah, Buford, Georgia, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where it was.
I'm kind of remembering this now. How did that go socially? Do you remember, dynamic?
It was kid-centric, so it was good. The kids had a great time, and it was Christmas time, so the mall looks great. And we did kind of a Christmas thing. Maybe also went to the food court and got Taco Bell, because who doesn't do that at Christmas? So, yeah.
Traditional Christmas fare.
I recall there was no drama, if that's what... everyone had a nice time. We all watched a really cool movie with Tom Hanks, in a Zemeckis film, and so forth. So.
To me now, unfortunately, it's almost unwatchable, and it's not because of the characters or anything like that. It's just
What?
it's just we watched it last year, and it was just so like the little sad kid and that song they sing, and some of the stuff was just like I'm breaking out of the trance of this was a new technology and all that. The story, the book, I will always love. It's the stuff they threw in there. I know a lot of people were put off by the look of it. That was cool to me. I mean, it was like, okay, yeah, that's interesting how they character everybody, but I don't know. It was just like this, how they adapted it.
I like the score too. See, I really like the score. It's a good
Christmas score. I don't hate but that song done. I want that song right out. It just makes me nuts.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the incidental background music. That's
like when the train's going across the ice.
Yeah. And that's Alan Silvestri who scored that. He does all of Zemeckis' stuff, and I think that score is wonderful. So, speaking of summer things, I thought of you. I thought of you today.
Thanks, man.
I made chicken. I grilled chicken, and so, but I didn't do. I had all this chicken. I wanted to just grill it up, and then I'll eat it for lunch during the course of the week.
Sure.
And I thought I was going to do all these special things. And I did it like just a little rub, like just whatever seasoning, and then threw them on the grill. And then right at the end, just a little barbecue based, like the old days, like the way we did chicken 1,000 times. That's how we would do it. We would do. And I'll tell you what was neat was when it was cooking, I'm smelling it going, this smells like 15, 20 years ago.
That's interesting. I haven't grilled chicken in forever, and when I do grill chicken, it's normally the Kirk wings.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's, talk about easy and satisfies, and everybody freaking loves them.
I was going to say, we're we into that.
But I can't really do that here, because I'm eating all of them if I do.
Well, yeah, I have 9 wings and 2 big chicken breasts down there, and
I think there's surgery for that.
And then I'll have a pasta salad I'll make tomorrow too. And then have the pasta salad with little bits of barbecue chicken sprinkled atop.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what I'm doing for dinner tonight.
By the way, here's another little tidbit, boys and girls. And if you remember this, when we have the quiz, whenever we do have the lounge quiz, if you get this right weeks from now, then your name will go in the hopper.
Yeah.
The next 2 shows, Bob. So this one and next week.
Okay.
Yeah, are going to be the 2 shows where those will be the longest days of the year. I wrote that down on a piece of paper that says Clear Channel Radio at the top. That's how old that is. There, Clear Channel Radio.
Next 2 shows, longest days of year. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it says next 2 shows, longest of the year. The days. I even wrote it as a bit delivery.
Oh, ...
Yes. Yeah. See, right there. So it's I don't know if you can read that. Yeah, next 2 shows, longest of the year, but not the shows. You see, the days.
Right. I understand.
Shows is different.
Yeah, it is. Unless I just let it go long, because I'm in control. I could end it right now. I push that button, and with those words,
right.
And no one would care, really. Well, that's not true. Tracy's watching. You can cook chicken, she said.
That's bad. Okay. All right. Important safety tip. Thanks, Egon.
Speaking of Ghostbusters.
I found the Ghostbusters.
And speaking of cooking, we went out last night. Tracy and I went out because I had it in I wanted surf and turf. I got it in my head earlier this week that I wanted surf and turf. And we're looking around. And in Vegas, surf and turf is everywhere, but it's stupid. It's like stupid money. Like everything's crisp money,
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, okay, I don't, because I could cook it. I could go and spend the time and make it awesome. But I don't want to do that either. So we actually ended up landing it at Outback, which, whatever. This is a steak, is a filet and a 9-ounce filet and a big thing of awesome mashed potatoes, right? We got the awesome blossom, which I've never had. And I never need it again. Huh? The bloomin' onion. Bloomin' onion.
Yeah. The bloomin' onion. One time. Thank you, bye. Not again.
Yeah. And then some fried mushrooms, which were surprisingly good. I guess I'm going on about this because it was so different. But I will say that, it's like it wasn't what I had in my head, for the experience, but it scratched the itch. Like I don't need to do that again until we go to Hell's Kitchen, which is something it's on our list.
What is Hell's Kitchen?
Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's that. Then we just go in, and that's where we know we're going to spend stupid money just to go to Hell's Kitchen, right? But
Sammy and I, how Sammy and I refer to that? Seriously, there's a phrase that we use for that. That's a place where you don't order from the right side of the menu.
Right. Yeah, they don't have a right side.
Yeah, right. If you're going in there and you have to look at the right, then you've gone into the wrong place. If you must, I have a butcher like that. That there's a butcher that I use sometimes and sparingly, but if I'm cooking for company or I'm going to compete or some crap, and then I go, okay, this isn't grocery store time, it's butcher time. And when I walk in there, I just ask for what I want. I don't say, how much for the so-and-so today? Like he's my local buddy that I see every day right next to the candlestick maker. No, when I go there and it's like Wagyu. Wagyu.
Yeah, otherwise, it's no meat for you.
No, right. No meat for you. I go in there, and now hold that thought though. But that's like that's like Hell's Kitchen. When you go there, you're not going there and saying, "Gee, let's look for the cheap." Oh, can I have the?
No, you just buy what you went there to get, and you just whatever it costs is what it costs. You do not go. Well, maybe a cheaper version of this.
Can we share the dessert? You don't do it at a place like that.
Well, she might want to share the dessert anyway. I don't know.
I just said something. Think about something now. I can't remember what it was. I said, hold that thought. And fudge. I forgot it. But anyway, yeah, right side of the menu. Although I will say this, I don't go a lot. I don't go to restaurants often because most times when I go, like if I were to had gotten that hankering for surf and turf like you did, and I would think, I can do this at home.
Yeah.
Like and it's not, now there are certain places I will go to get whatever they have because it's better than I could make at home. And then yay. Like there's a place down in Midtown that has a lobster bisque that is unstinking believable. And every time I go there, I don't care what time of year it is. It's not soup. I get the lobster bisque because it is rock star good.
Yeah.
And it's a bar, right? It's like a bar that's they have Oyster Fest once a year or whatever. It's a bar. But they got a really good lobster bisque. But normally I'll go and I'll say $35, $40, $50. It's not that I can't afford $50, although I don't like to spend on a meal. It's like I could have made this for $20 and got 3 meals out of it. I could have made the same thing and I could have eaten 3 different meals with the microwave and everything else. I could have warmed it up.
Yeah,
whatever.
It is kind of hard to think about that stuff, especially when you don't care about the status of a restaurant or being. I don't have that gene. Like it just like I don't care. Is the food good? That's what right. And
if I were to go like to a Hell's Kitchen, and you know me, we talk food all the time. And if I were to go there, which I'd like to, that seems great to me. I would love to do that so I can tell the story.
Yeah.
But boy, I sure hope that when that food comes, I go, man, am I going to tell this story? As opposed to, it was good, but wow.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know it's not bad.
My expectation is high.
Yeah,
it's way high.
And okay, let me see what you know what it's like. It's like when I've emceed, or if you've done the same. It's stand-up comedy. Man, I've emceed at comedy clubs. I've never actually done stand-up, but I've emceed, and that is so frightening and so scary. And it's just you and a microphone and this 1 billion lumen light shining right in your eyes. And those people sitting out there going, all right, MF, I paid cover charge. I got to have 2 drink minimum. Make me effing laugh.
I don't want to hear your amateur dad jokes, right?
Right. And they're like, they're in a mood. You better make me this, but you better be effing funny. And that's kind of like when you go to a great restaurant. This better be stinking good. This is Gordon Ramsay, and it's going to cost me with my date and tax and tip, $150 a head or some ridiculous.
Well, I will say that I do not have that energy around it. I don't have this better be good. It's just I have a full expectation that it will be good. I mean, there's not like okay, because
that's how those comedy clubs. Man, when I would get up and MC those things, I'd go, I am so glad I'm going to say, listen to the morning show tomorrow, and the drink specials are this, and who has a Toyota white Celica, your lights around, and sit your ass down, man.
Were you there when David Paul?
Yes.
Did we all go? So you went to we all went to that event where he he emceed a comedy night.
Right. We went together.
Right.
We
That's
all
what
went
I assumed. It wasn't like, hey, Rob's here. That would never happen.
Who would have done that?
How did that not? Yeah.
Whole world. Woo!
Let's move these tables together.
Hey, Pedro. Why did I come up? Why did I use Pedro?
I don't know, but I guess you're canceled now.
Why did I use Pedro? Can we rewind that or something? Hey, white guy. Come on over. And
That's so much better. Yeah. That fixed everything.
Right. Now I'm PC.
Oh, this show. Gonna go down that history.
So what? Facebook memory. Okay, so I don't really click on those too often, but I did the other day. It says you have a Facebook memory with Bob.
Okay.
And it was back from 2018.
All
so
right. Was I in Vegas or out? Was I?
You were in Vegas.
Okay.
You were in Vegas. It's your old
yeah,
place.
that would have only been January. I wasn't. So yeah.
And it was back from 2018, and you were doing a cooking video, and you posted it on Facebook.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was tagged because you were making my chili recipe.
Oh, I was. I put that on. That was bold.
Yeah. You said, this is really awesome and blah, blah, blah. And so this is Rob's recipe. And so you did excuse me, you did the edits and everything. I mean, you had the whole thing kind of with music underneath.
Yeah.
You produced.
I was doing so many of those. I was on a roll there for a while, just doing
cooking
videos.
Fun to watch. I haven't even made that recipe too. I haven't made that in years, and I love that chili recipe. But what was funny was that clever Bob. He's so funny when he makes his videos. So you had everything in. Now it's stewy time. It's the time when it's just going to sit there and roll and do it. And it was like a half an inch from the top.
Right. That's I don't have the right size pot. It's always right there.
And then it came up in quotations. I need a bigger Dutch oven, and you didn't say it. You just put it in like
Okay, yeah.
Words scrolling across the bottom. I need a bigger Dutch. I laughed. I wrote that down
because stirring it because you got to kind of move it around sometimes, and you've got no wiggle room. It's like that much because
it was really
I've got the wrong size Dutch oven, and I'm going to use that recipe. I'm not going to mess around with the measurements,
No, you're not going to try to calculate. Okay, I want to make 2/3 of what Rob. That's like
if this is a real show, we'd have our producer find that link and post it in the show notes.
Yeah, in the show notes. It is a good recipe. I remember too when you had it the first time, that recipe. You had that chili. I think it was at Brookstone, and all I remember is you said, "Can I have the recipe?" And I said yes, and I gave you the recipe, and you said, there's more than 5 ingredients. I remember you saying from Kevin Underwood always says, if it's got more than 5, and this thing's got like 30.
Yeah, you work for this. You work for this, but it is it's a pork tenderloin chili. So the meat in there is a pork tenderloin, and by the end of it, it is so freaking melt in your mouth.
It is.
And the rest of it. And it's one of those, like I guess most chilies, but boy, you make it and then you put it in the refrigerator, and as the days go by, and it just the seasonings do their thing, it just gets better and better. It makes amazing omelets. It's amazing on a freaking hot dog. You put that stuff on a hot dog, that's that's decadent. It's pig on pig, and it's so good.
It is. It's a good chili recipe. I've even entered that in chili cook-off competitions. I've never won with it, but I always get a great review from the judges going, wow, I would have never had the guts to do chunks of pork tenderloin, because they all do the little pea gravel, the ground beef.
Yeah, it's so satisfying. It's so good. And I cannot believe you have that chili didn't place, but it's so different that I guess they don't know what to do with it.
They give you props, but the ones that win are usually like Skyline chili out of Cincinnati. It's a traditional chili. Fine. I'm not, it doesn't hurt my feelings or anything, because I know it's a badass chili. In fact, to the point where if someone says, Rob, make chili, that's the recipe I'll make. It's a good recipe. It's unique, and it's fun to make. And it's fun to, I love it when you're sweating the vegetables and you throw the spices on top. The smell in the kitchen when you do, rock star good. That is a good recipe. Although that's your afternoon. Boys and girls,
that's why I was doing videos with all that stuff, because it made it more fun. It was like a creative thing. Like just cooking all of those things wouldn't have been. My brain needs more, right? It just needs more. So filming it and knowing I was going to edit together and everything, that was like what made me want to do it well and all that other stuff.
It just blew my mind. I go, Bob Doyle and I have a memory. Like, we never do anything like on Facebook, like crap like that. And I go, how would I even have a memory? And then I go, I'm watching this great video from your old kitchen when you used to make food that had more meat in it than you do these days. And I'm going, this is great. Well, although you had surf and turf just yesterday? So good on you on that.
So Tracy's mom wants the recipe for that chili.
You can do that.
We'll give it to you. So you need a big Dutch oven. Do you have a big Dutch oven, Carol?
Yeah.
I'm sure she does.
And then an afternoon of time. You got to do.
She's got the time.
And I've got the beer.
You? Hmm? Yep. Yes. Well, I think that's great. I would love to pass that on to her.
That would have been the cue to hit the button when she's got the time. I said, I've got the beer.
I did not even realize where we were in this. I was so caught up in the conversation. I thought it was like 6:20 or something. All right.
Whatever it
takes.
Well,
now I'm at the. Do you know that came up the other day? Mr. Mom did. I was asking Tracy if she'd seen it, and yes, she loved it and all that other stuff. And I was talking about how we quote that line. Two things from that one scene is the 220, 221, and Scotch.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
right.
You want a beer? It's 7:30 in the morning. Scotch?
Freaking I'll either be here at the gun club. I always like that part too. He goes,
oh yes, I forgot. The whole thing is so good.
He's got the overalls on with a chainsaw and some goggles.
The goggles. Yes.
And then he ends up
with the swagger.
Really, yeah. And then he fast forward 10, 15 years, he's doing Academy Award stuff, Birdman and things like that. You would have never thought that he would have made that leap in his acting abilities.
No. I still haven't seen Birdman.
Either have I, and I hear it's great. I hear it's out there though. I hear it kind of twists your brain a little.
And then he does I guess he's in one of the recent mashups of all the comic book stuff.
Well, yeah, he does a ton of
where there's more than one Batman. Like he's wearing the Batman uniform again.
Yeah, because there's a time. Apparently, there's alternate universes. So he's going in his world, and the other Batman's going in his world. Or Flash. Oh, it's Flash. That's what he's in. He's in the new Flash movie because Flash obviously ran so fast that time changed, and so they do that. Marvel likes, although this is DC, but Marvel likes that where there's jumping on alternate universes. So there's no rules. You can bring anyone back.
No rules. That's right.
No rules. Because we get to jump universes. So if we get to do that, we can bring characters back who died. It doesn't matter. There's no rules.
Just right.
And with those words, those were the words they chose. I kid you not. Those were the words. So when those words came out, they decided that's when they were going to end the show. They could have done, I don't know, countless other things, but they chose that sequence of words to end it. And this is how we're left with the show. I don't get it. I don't think I can watch anymore.
You've been watching The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle. Join us every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and tell your friends and family to do the same. After all, we'd do it for you if you had a show. Probably.
Well, he whopped me on the back and he says, "Buddy, have a drink."